Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you don't know the channel, my name is Gunther, and today we will be discussing tattoos sent in by other tattoo artists, and this is a critique video where we will be discussing the works they sent in, and we'll have a look where there's maybe room for improvement and what techniques we can use, where things could have been done maybe differently, and yeah, hopefully people can just learn something from it and hopefully take something from it and just better their work. So let's get right into it. First up we have JP Tattoo Artist. He sent 3 pieces in. First one we have is the lady with a finger over her mouth. Straight off the bat I could see the black, the dark need to be more saturated. You can see the color on her chest, the black, it looks more like a faded grey. Also that needs to be a bit more solid black. And then also the shades in her hand needs to be a bit more dark, more saturated to really define the fingers, and also the shadow from the finger going across the lips and by the mouth, that shadow needs to be more prominent. And I would say she can do with a bit of a background. And then also in the hair I would say that needs to be a bit saturated more. There's a bit spots which I can see through it. And then other than that, I do like the warm color in the face, by the cheek area, and yeah, like I say, that, and maybe the chain could be tightened up a bit. But other than that, I think the tattoo is well executed. Okay, next one, also sent in by JP, is Chris Brown, I think. Here is the same thing I can say. Comes down to saturation. The dark colors needs to be really dark to hold up the tattoo over the years. The whole area from the ear, the cap, under the chin, all those need to be really packed in. I don't think it's that solid, it can be a bit more solid than that. And the highlights on the face, the area where the light reflects on the face, needs to be more highlighted. Because at the moment I think it's a bit all colored in, which makes it a little bit flat. So your darks needs to be really dark, and then your light area where the light's coming from needs to really show. And then also things like the microphone, you know, the highlight bits in the microphone, and the fingers, collar. And I think the background around the cap and that, if you could maybe bring that more out, that would also look pretty cool. But other than that, not a bad tattoo. And let's get on to the next one. Another lady with the glasses. What I could suggest, I don't know if you've used, it looks like you've used a liner for the hair on the top area. But instead of drawing the lines, I would rather suggest that you color it in with a mag or a round shader, rather than pulling lines. And also I would suggest maybe do a purple background would have worked nice. It doesn't have to be shocking purple, but just a hint, or like a muddy purple even, nice and dark to come off the hair, and it will complement the yellow which you have in the hair, the yellows and oranges. Purple being the complementary, I think that would work very nice with that. And I think also you just need better lighting for your photos, because you've got, it looks like a nice tattoo, but you've got such a bright shine over your tattoo that it takes it away from your tattoo. So I would recommend getting a CPL lens just to get rid of the reflection on your tattoos. And other than that, it looks pretty good. I think that's the better one of the 3 if you ask me. Nice one. Okay, next up we have Tariq Abrams. He sent in 3 pieces to me. first one we have up is this Celtic piece. I think it looks like a wolf, if I'm not mistaken, up the forearm. It looks a bit like it's still healing. I would say, well, the light takes a lot away from this photo. I can't see the image really because the light is so bright. That's something you really need to look at, you know. Maybe definitely invest in good lighting to take your photos in, or a good camera. The tattoo looks a bit unfinished to me, so I would recommend doing loads more shading. Being a black and grey piece, I would add maybe a lot of darks, more black, and then maybe some sort of background. Okay, so here you have the biomechanical. It looks like upper arm, if I'm not mistaken. So it looks done neat. The line work is neat. I would just suggest always when you do half sleeve or anywhere on the body, to have the tattoo fit the whole area. So that tattoo I would have made to fit the whole area, so there's no skin on the sides. I just think it looks a little bit awkward if you only have you know, a small tattoo and then you have the rest of the shoulder, a big gap around it. Plus being gears and machinery, grinding, I would say fit the whole arm, get it all in there. And then again, like I say, neat tattoo, neat line work. I'll just say it needs a lot more black. It needs a lot of black in there. I can't stress enough how important the black is, especially for the tattoo to hold up over many more years to come. And then of course your white highlights, minimal white highlights could have also looked amazing in there. Okay, and the next one is this Indian girl, also sent in by Tariq. I'd say the face is a bit light. I know the shin area can be a bit tricky, easy to overwork. This is so close to the bone, and yeah, you get kind of one shot to do it. You can't work the skin too much because you overwork it. I'd say it needs more dark tones, but you've got a nice foundation to work off of, and nothing you can't go back in and just rework a bit, you know. Definitely put darker bits by the nose, by the mouth area, chin, underneath the chin, maybe a bit in a headband, and then some little white highlights, and as well as the feathers. I wouldn't use liners so much for the feathers, rather a magnum, and so you can really shade them and make them look more soft, more realistic. And also the kneecap clashes a bit for me with the feathers. I think if you're going to put something in the middle of that, then that could also make it look a bit better, I think. The next one we have in was sent by Connor, and this hummingbird, okay, I like how you started with the tail, and how the beak, the area by the face is nice and saturated. I don't know if it was supposed to be part of the peony flowers there on the thigh. I think you did try and bring it together as one piece. I would have suggested to maybe take those beads and let it go into the hummingbird's beak, as if it's holding it, or maybe bring the beak a bit upper, or since the beak is black, even let it go a bit over the flower to bring it a bit more into that tattoo. Like I say, the bottom of the feathers, I think you started nicely. It's nice and neat and crisp, but as soon as you went up, and especially by the top of the wings, it looks a bit very loose, and I don't think it's going to hold up great by the look of it. And because the shading just looks a bit soft, so I would suggest maybe take a 5 round shader for those wings, or even like a 7 mag or a 9 mag, and just really, you know, sharpen up the edges and then bring nice strokes into it. So definitely more black into that. and yeah, some little bits of white highlights, but yeah, not a bad tattoo. Next up we have inked up Mike with this cool Jay-Z piece. This is really a very nice piece. Nothing bad I can say really about it, and I see it's got a bit of a glare from the photo, which I'm sure that it's more black underneath the cap, but the glare takes that a bit away from the tattoo. But other than that, I think it's a really good tattoo and well executed. Well done, Mike. Then I've got one sent in by Rion de Brugge from South Africa, and this piece, I really like it. Cool style, kind of got like a new school style to it. I would say maybe a bit of a background could be nice, and there by a hand, I don't know, I think it's a gun. I would have made the gun maybe more black so it can stand out, so it's not the same shade as the face and hand and skull and cap. So I would have brought more black into the gun, and then also the background could be nice with a bit of background, and the hair, instead of using lines in the hair, I would suggest taking a magnum and the edge of the mag, like a nice 15 mag, just use the edge and then slightly curved, nice little fine hairlines in there, because you'll get a much more realistic feel. Now I understand this is not a realism piece, I can tell obviously, but that's just my take on that. I think by the finger it looks, it's very plain, it's a very plain design. But yeah, I would say in the skull, maybe the nose, make it more black. The cap, maybe a bit more shading by the hair, and the cap, like a bit of a drop shadow going on there by the eye, you know, so it can really stand up. I like the calligraphied lines you did when you thickened it up. That looks pretty cool. So yeah, nice tattoo. Scott, man, I love this tattoo. This is a really good tattoo, like a new school skull going on with a bright bold white outline. Really like that, and I love how the eyeball sits in the socket. That's executed very well, and I really like the peppery shading or the whip shading you've got going on. It gives a nice feel to it, you know, kind of a sandpaper feel, but it works very well with the piece. I like the little stars in the background, the moon, and yeah, that's a very good tattoo. Looks like a gap filler, and I think that's very well executed. Well done, bro. Next up we have Jordan Burkill. He's an apprentice, so let's have a look at this. I think straight up your packing of color looks pretty good, especially for apprentice. Well done. Especially the yellow, which is not always the easiest color to put in, and the light blue as well. Both of them looks put in pretty well. Only thing I would say is the lines, the outlines look a bit shaky all around the fish, and the colors of the eye, the green, I would suggest maybe make it a little bit of a lighter green. That would stand out nicely. And yeah, I guess this is a tattoo you kind of put on its own. It's just like a sticker kind of, you know, not much background or so going on, but it's good for practice and it's not a bad tattoo, so you can be proud of that. And last but not least, I've got this one sent in by David Goff. I really love this tattoo. There's a few things I'd like to point out which I do really like, which I think is well executed. I like the detail in the foreground, in the face. I like the warmer colors in the face, and because that is the focus point and you've captured it well, and that's executed very well. And then as you move backwards to the tattoo goes out of focus and not much detail, and the colors go a little less vibrant and a little bit colder even, and that is really good. I really like that. You capture the depth very good, so well done on that. A few things I would have done a bit different. Me personally, I would have flipped the image, as you can see here, and I would have made it bigger. So then I think that is, I actually think that's a perfect tattoo. Other than that, now not much bad I can say about it. And yeah, really cool tattoo. So there you go, guys. That was my first video of the artist critique videos. Thank you all so much for sending in these works. I really enjoyed looking at it. I hope you can take something and learn something from it, and everyone watching this at home. And at some point I'd like to do critique video about tattoo collectors, so they can send in their tattoos and we can have a look at that to see what they think about it. So guys, thank you so much, and I'm asking more artists to send in your work so I can do more tattoo critique videos and tips and discuss a few techniques, and hopefully you can apply that and make your work better. Other than that, thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate it a lot. Stay tuned for the next episode. Cheers!